Hey guys, Mrs. Bryant. Welcome to our new lessons on Flipped Classroom. Today we are going to be talking about writing equations in slope-intercept form with a slope and with a y-intercept. So I need you to go ahead and get out the paper I gave you in class today after your test and be ready to follow along with the notes. For the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about slope and finding slope given a graph, given a table, and given two ordered pairs. And then we talked about how to find y-intercepts. And remember, y-intercepts are going to be, if you have an ordered pair, it's going to be 0, and then whatever number here is your y-intercept. It's where it crosses the y-axis. Okay? And it's also this b in the slope-intercept form. So to write an equation in slope-intercept form, we need the slope and we need the y-intercept. So once we have those two things, we can write it in slope-intercept form. And notice that you have y first equals mx plus b. So let's go ahead and get started. It says, can you find my equation? And we know that we are looking for y equals mx plus b. So every time we do a problem, you need to write m equals and you need to write b equals, because those are the two things you're looking for. The easiest part on a graph is to find the y-axis. Notice right here is where it crosses the y-axis. That automatically becomes your b. So our b is -6. Now, we have to find our slope. And you remember slope is rise over run if you're given a graph. So start at your y-intercept and find another point where it crosses two of the grids in the graph. And you're going to rise 1, 2, so plus 2. Over run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what is our slope? 2/5. Make sure you ask yourself, does it need to be simplified? And the answer is no, because 2 is a prime and 5 is odd, so 2 can't go into 5. So now that we have both things that we need, we can write our equation. Y equals, our m is 2/5 x, and then plus b, but our b is negative, so we're going to have -6. And then that is your equation. Next example, automatically write m, automatically write b, and we know it's rise over run. First things first, find where it crosses the y-axis. Remember, this is the y. Our y-axis, or our y-intercept, is 8. Once we have that, we can find another point, and we can find our rise over run. Rise is 1, 2, 3, -3, because we went down, over run is +1. So -3 over 1 can be simplified to -3. Now that we have our information, we can write our equation. Y equals -3x plus 8. Now is where it's going to get a little different. It says the line has a slope of -1/2 with a y-intercept of 7. We know that we need an m and we need a b in order to write our equation. We know that slope equals m, so what is our slope? -1/2. And we know y-intercept equals b, so our y-intercept is 7. This is the easiest kind that we can do because both informations are given to you without any kind of work. Now that we have our information, we can write our equation. Y equals -1/2 x plus 7, and there's your equation. Next example, here's where it kind of gets a little bit different. So it says, can you find my equation for a line that passes through 0, negative 13, and has a slope of 5? What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start a table. You have your x. We know we're looking for m, and we're looking for b. I'm sorry, we should have wrote that first. We have x, we have our process, and we have our y. So our x is 0 and our y is negative 13. And we know our slope is 5, and that slope is always the beginning of your process. So 5 times 0 is 0, but I know I need to get to negative 13. So what do I need to add or subtract from 0 to get to negative 13? Your answer is subtract 13. So now if we had x down here and y so we could come up with our equation, we would have 5x minus 13 equals y. So our m is 5 and our b was negative 13. All right. Another example. Can you find the equation with the line that passes through 1, negative 4, and has a slope of negative 2? So we know we're looking for m, and we're looking for b. So we need to draw our table. Plug in our point. So 1, negative 4. And we know our slope is negative 2, so negative 2 times 1. We need to find what our constant right here. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, but I know I need to get to negative 4. So what am I going to add or subtract to negative 2 to get to negative 4? The answer is you're going to subtract 2 more. So what is our m? Negative 2. And what was our constant that we found? Negative 2. So our equation is y equals negative 2x. Remember, because if we did this down here like we've normally been doing it, we would have negative 2x minus 2. So that's where those equations are coming from. Another example. It says, can you find my equation with a line that has a slope of 0 and passes through 3, 7? So again, you need to make your m and your b, and we can go ahead and fill in our slope is 0. And then make your table. I'm just going to put P for process. Actually, I'm just going to spell it out. And put your point in. We know our slope is 0, so it's going to be 0 times 3. Well, 0 times, we're looking for that constant. 0 times 3 is 0, so what do I need to add or subtract to get to 7? Our answer is 7, so our B is 7. So our equation, if I have 0 as my slope, do I need to put 0x? No, you do not need to put 0x. So our equation is y equals 7. And if you think about it, it passes through the line 3, 7 right there. And you know it has a slope of 0, so your line is going to be a horizontal line. So y equals 7 tells you where that horizontal line is going to sit, but that's your equation. Another example, can you find my equation for the line that passes through negative 4, 8 and has a slope of negative 3/4? Again, we're looking for m and we're looking for b. And we already know our slope, so we can put that here. But we need to find what we're adding or subtracting. It's called our constant. And in order to do that, you have to do a process table. Plug in your points, negative 4, 8. You know it's going to be negative 3/4 times 4, but we want it to look like a fraction. And I wrote a little bit too big, so we're going to start this part over. So we have negative 3/4 times negative 4 over 1, because I want this whole number to look like a fraction. And we're looking for our constant. So negative 3 times negative 4, we're going to come down here and show our work, is 12 divided by 4. So that equals 3, but I know I need to get to 8. So what am I adding? Plus 5. So our constant would be, or our equation could be, negative 3/4 x plus 5. So our equation is y equals negative 3 fourths x plus 5. And this is the only one that's kind of a little bit different than what we've done because of the fraction. Do not be afraid of that fraction. And remember, your slopes need to stay in fraction form so you know how far to move up and down or side to side. Let's go ahead and do our last example. It says, can you find my equation for the line that passes through? All right, our last example. The line passes through 5, negative 3, and has an undefined slope. So we're looking for an m and a b. We know our slope is undefined, so that means we have no slope. But we still need to bring our process table in. 5, negative 3. So we have no kind of process here, and we don't know how to get to negative 3. But so if we graph this, 5, negative 3, our dot's going to be right there. And it has an undefined slope, so we know that we have a vertical line. All we have to do is tell where that is going through. So our x is equal to 5. That is your equation. Tomorrow in class, we will do a foldable with some examples of what we just did, and we will work on some problems together. Make sure you have watched the video and come to class ready to practice. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will get back to you. Have a great evening. I'll see you tomorrow.